It's the Self Care for Success show. Meet your certified life and book coach, Joanne Dean.
Greetings and welcome to the show. Today's guest has over 6 years of experience in the mental health field. She is a life coach, and her love for serving others is what inspires her journey. Please help me welcome Symone Fears to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful Saturday morning. Let me start off by asking, how are you?
I am doing well today. Um, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
You are so welcome.
Who is Symone?
It is a question that I oftentimes find it hard to answer because I feel like I am so many things. But I did break it down into two different categories. So for me, Symone is a kind individual personally. She's kind, she's smart, she's loving, she's caring. I call myself an extroverted homebody. I love interacting with people. I love going out with my friends and family and seeing them, but not for too long because then I like to, scurry on back home. I'm a girl's girl. I love my friends. Those women are very near and dear to my heart, and I love my family. That's what I can identify with after me being, so loving and kind to myself. I love to give that love and kindness to other people. And then professionally, I'm someone who has 6 years of experience in the mental health field. It has been both challenging and gratifying at the same time. And I most recently earned my certificate in life coaching, or my life coaching certificate. And so that is something that I'm excited about. And most recently, I have gained my first client.
Yay! Congratulations on all.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. So, as a fellow sister on the journey, what
Yes.
inspired you on this path?
What inspired me to, first of all, come into the mental health field, and second of all, go more specifically into the life coaching direction is obviously the love of helping others. In order to be here in this arena, you have to like people and you have to like helping other people. But most recently, I am learning how to leverage my experiences and learning to leverage how to leverage what I know about this field. And so that is what's continuing, that's what's keeping me going. When I came into the field, it was about helping other people. And now that I'm here, I have some experiences under my belt. I want to now learn how to leverage that. And that encompasses a lot of different things.
So, in your endeavor to help others, I see you doing all the things. How do you carve out time to take care of you?
So I will start by saying it used to be really hard for me to take care of myself. I'll be real with you. There was a time that I didn't. Um, it was about work and home, and that was the only thing that I knew. It wasn't until about 2 years ago that I really started to hone in on self care and what that looks like and what that means. I've always done like little things of self care, taking time to myself and meditation and yoga. Those are things that I've always enjoyed. But about 2 years ago, I really started to come into what that looks like outside of meditation, outside of yoga, outside of spending time with myself. And so most recently, I have learned the word no because that is so important for me. I didn't know how to provide people with that boundary. That's the other one, is creating boundaries and sticking to those boundaries. but learning how to say no to the things that do not serve me, or simply that I just didn't want to do. That is, to me, a very huge self-care, especially for people in this field, and especially for people like me who didn't want to turn down a single soul who asked me to do something, or like, let's say in the workplace, when you have 1,000 different tasks thrown in your lap, you you have to learn that it's important to say no. I can't take on any more tasks. I can't do anything else. I'm going to have to delegate these tasks to some other people. And so that's been huge for me, the word no, but also continuing yoga, continuing meditation, continuing to take time to myself, spending time with my friends, spending time with my family has been important. Self-care and dating. That's something that I had to learn to get back into and enjoy, because that was not something for a very long time that I even cared about, because it was all about work and home.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you learned to set that boundary of the word.
Yes. I love it now. It's not as uncomfortable as it was in the very beginning. It was very uncomfortable for me to tell people no, or I can't do that, or that's just not possible for me to do, or your expectation of me is your expectation, and I can't take that expectation on um, to myself, because then that with I was being weighed down by the expectation of other people, basically, is what I'm saying. And it it kept me from growing. It kept me from my own growth.
What was the fear around saying no?
um disappointing other people. It I never wanted to disappoint, what in the workplace, in my personal life, in all aspects, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, in those four spaces, whatever that looked like for me. I didn't want to disappoint. I wanted to be able to take on all of the tasks that were placed in my lap, no matter what, and I needed to be able to get all of them done. What it did was kept me from taking care of myself and fulfilling my hopes and desires and dreams, because I was too busy worried about what other people needed from me, or I was too busy worried about those expectations of other people. And some of them, if I can be honest, some of the expectations were self-placed expectations, what I thought people needed or wanted to see, or what I thought people it's like, a very overly helpful person. You've seen those people who are extremely helpful even when they don't need to be. And I was that person for a very long time. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. What is it that you need me to do? And before you know it, I have 10 different tasks, and I've completely neglected me and what I want to do and where I want to go.
What do you think that is connected to or stemmed from?
I don't know yet. I have a therapist of my own, and so we've explored different things. Someone coming from a really great family, I haven't even been able to place it there. Like, there are some people who can place it on the family expectations, or past traumas. I'm not going to say, you can't say you don't have any traumas, but I can't place it like on my family. I think it's just something that like almost a snowball effect. Maybe something happened one time, um, an expectation, whether it be in school to make good grades, or to achieve something. And then it kind of was a snowball effect where I just took on a persona of needing to be there and be perfect, so to speak. And I just kind of took it on, and years passed, and it kind of just got worse and worse and worse, to where not only was I a perfectionist, because that's a whole other conversation, but I also took on the expectations of other people or what I thought people expected, and I ran with it. So I'm not 100% sure where it started. And I would say it probably started in childhood, probably started with the expectation of me, like I was saying, needing to make good grades. Let me say this, because my therapist and I did explore this. I went to I grew up in a predominantly white area, and I was one of the very few Black people who was in the school, who played on the softball team, all the way up until I was about maybe 10th or 11th grade. I always hung around my family, so I wasn't neglecting. Black culture wasn't neglected, and my mom and dad made sure I knew who I was, being a Black little girl. But it was an expectation, and after having conversations with other people who grew up in predominantly white areas, there was an expectation to excel and be you always had to be better than your white counterparts. And that was something that I could pinpoint at that, with my therapist, that you had to be better. You had to read more books and you had to know more, because they were able to almost be mediocre in the sense, and I'm not calling them mediocre, but they were just able to exist. Whereas I had to over excel, because if you didn't, then you're seen as this little dumb Black girl, or, the stereotype of they don't know anything anyway. And so because of that, I needed to read more books. I needed to make better grades. I needed to hit more home runs even. And so, like I said, something small, I think, developed into adulthood, and then, in your late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, and then early 30s. And it wasn't until, like I said, about 2 years ago, that I was able to pinpoint it and start working to undo it.
Yeah, yeah. That definitely doesn't sound like a small thing,
You
but you sound like you have pinpointed it.
Uh-huh.
I definitely hear it. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that with us, because that definitely made a huge impact on your life and how you see
Yeah.
yourself in your journey.
It
So
has.
sharing that with us today, I appreciate
Mhm.
it. Yeah. How do you want to be known or remembered?
Hmm. I think that when I am, whether still here on this earth or when I have transitioned, my hope is that people remember me for um, being inspiring. And I hope that people remember me for being the kind and loving and honest person that I would like to be, or that I hope that I have been to people. Um, I hope that I hope people remember me for doing all of the things that God has placed on my heart, and I want them to remember me for doing it scared, confidently, whatever. I did it. All of my ideas, all of my hopes and desires and dreams, I want to do them before I leave this earth. And so when I do leave, my hope is that people remember me as, hey, that girl, or Symone, she really did everything that she hoped she would do or wanted to do. I always am inspired by people who have an idea and immediately start executing that idea. That is so inspiring to me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What's next for you?
What's next for me? So, career wise, I plan to have my prayer journal out within the next 30 days. There's some more certificates that I'm looking to get. I don't want to ever stop learning. And then by the end of this year, my plan, these are like on my list of things to do, is to have taken my NCE, just to have this, and pass it, obviously, so I can have that under my belt. Whether I use it or not, I still want to be able to have that. Um, I would love to be a full-time entrepreneur. And that looks very broad for me, because not only am I looking to put out my prayer journal and have a successful life coaching business, but I also have other things on other ends that I would like to work on. And so I would like to be a successful entrepreneur. And by successful, I mean being able to not go into a office. I would like to be able to work for myself full time. And so that is my goal. I'm working really hard on achieving that goal. And so stay tuned for that. But personally, I want to continue to work on happiness and healing. I think healing is something that you never stop doing, because life is life and it continues to throw curveballs at you. So I'm not saying I will be healed in a sense, in a sense that you will be this like grand person, but I want to be able to have tools in my box that when life throws me curveballs, I can immediately pull a tool out of my box and I know how to use it. And it doesn't get, whatever the curveball is, I don't get a setback. I can use the tool and I can continue to move forward. Um, so so that's personally, but also to continue to love on my family and my friends, and one day get married and have kids. Like, I have so many things that are on my list, but I just take it one day at a time. I try not to think too far in advance, because if I do, then that perfectionism kicks in and I don't do anything. It's like that fight, flight, or freeze. I freeze. And it just doesn't happen at all. So I have to take it one day at a time, creating lists and making sure I check off my list of things that I know I need to do.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. How can our listeners support you?
So currently, if you would like to support me, if you would like to follow me on any of my social media platforms, Instagram is the most up-to-date platform that I have. And so you can follow me at Hello K Symone, and that's HELLOKSYMONE.
Thank you for being here today. I know that nothing
For
you said will definitely impact the lives of someone else. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. So until next time, thank you
Mhm.
so much for tuning in. I'm Joanne Dean, and I am your self-care sister. Be well.